I supposed to do with that? I don't know. It's too much. It's just too much.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Hello, everyone. And welcome to the Real on Parenting, where we dive into the highs and lows and everything in between when it comes to raising our kids, co-parenting, being parents, being individuals, all the things, whatever is going on in the parenting space in today's world. I am your co-host, Kiana Shaw. This is my co-host. This is our other co-host. Look, because
Right. Therapist
I'm
Danielle.
Kiana. This is Danielle.
Right.
Okay. And we're talking today about what are we talking about today? Unhealthy
Sure.
friendships. There you
Yes,
go.
my child has toxic friends. They got drama like they adults, okay? Like they done lived the life. Hmm.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you because these middle school years, I when I think back to my middle school years, yes, we had the same issues. Dealing
Now
with it from the
mine
parenting space, I'm just like,
um, I didn't have them issues. How is there even actual real drama happening in third and fourth grade? How are we having
well,
adult
because third
drama
and fourth
in
grade, that's
middle school?
elementary. That's not middle school, but
No,
in
but
middle
escalated
school,
to adult drama in middle school. Like, what's
well,
happening
I
here?
think because kids are aware of their bodies now, it's the he likes me, she likes me. It's the I'm gonna be mean because I don't know how to process my feelings. Whereas when they were younger, they would just say what was on their mind. Like, she's mean to me and I don't like, now it's like I'm too cool to say, why I'm upset. And so middle school is different.
It's very
And
much
I
so. I
want
think
out the
everybody
group
can
chat.
attest.
I want out the group chat. I
Me
do.
too.
Because who the hell
I didn't want the
said,
invitation in the first place.
right?
So
Because that's what I'm saying. Don't be adding me to stuff. Like, this is who
any other
decided
parents
this?
are part of this group chat that they didn't know they had signed up for. But
Listen,
yet
let
getting
us know.
these encounters, these real life encounter situations, and you like, hold on, is this my friend? Because I'm feeling some type of way. No, this is my child's
Right.
friend who is
And I
not
didn't even
helping.
know, like, I don't make up the rules to this, you know what I mean? But apparently we got a beef with a little girl is and her mama, okay?
Right. She said, what? With the hand gesture, okay? So
I don't listen, I don't make up the rules to this. However, I do play accordingly. Cause your baby, she said what, baby? She did what? Listen, so we were in the grocery store. Sidebar. We were in the grocery store and Kayla was like, Mama, you remember how you said that you don't want me fighting at school? She was like, so what if I see the person here in the grocery store?
excellent. Hey,
I
that is a
was,
great question.
I was like, so what is it that you're trying to do? Like you want to confront her? Like what is happening? She was just like, well, because of the amount of trauma she caused, this is her word, because of the amount of trauma she causes, I would
She's trying
like
to
to
go
just
in.
swing. She was like, I would like to start
Swing on
swinging.
boy,
Is her mama here? Like, you know what I mean? I need all the details before I give an answer. Is her mama here? I don't see her mama. Then no, because now it looked like we jumped the baby. Okay. Like, so if her mama was here, we could have an intelligent conversation and see where it escalates to. However,
right. Being the
no,
adult in the
you cannot just
situation.
start swinging on the girl because she might feel intimidated. And then we are ladies. We don't let our skirts hang in public, right? Like we will smile, we will move on. You don't have to speak. You don't even have to acknowledge her. You know what I mean? But
Right.
what we're not gonna do is cause a confrontation. And she was just like, so don't hit her. No, like what is happening
She
here?
wanted clarity. She just wanted clarity. So, needless to
And she's
say,
not normally violent. So I know whatever
right,
has happened, this
right,
girl has really pissed her off.
exactly.
But
Because
we
we know
gonna
our
hold it.
kids.
Right. Because she's not one to just be like, I want to go fight. Kayla avoids fights at all costs, but she is a boxer.
But it's like, yeah, don't try her. Don't try her.
she she is in
Don't try her.
jujitsu. She, you know what I mean? Like she's ready for the fight. She has been fighting
She's
my brother who
prepared.
is 6'5", 300 pounds all her life. She been fighting her uncle. So she is ready. Like she can take a
That's
hit. I
light
can
work,
say
right? That's light work. Anyways, let us stop. Let's move. Anyways, And I'm
Let me
pretty sure
adjust
the
my
mamas
light.
was like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But we're talking about
There we go.
when
I couldn't
your
see
child,
myself.
you said, I can see you now. Thank you for the
Okay.
adjustment. But
Thank
the
you. Thank
clarity,
you.
not the clarity, but everyone, it's like my child, he got toxic friends. Like, where did you meet these people at? They at school? Where they
And
mamas
why you
at?
attracted to him? Like what?
That is an excellent question. That is an excellent question because it goes back to the parent. But anywho, we ain't gonna step on no toes just yet. But
Right.
let's talk about what does that look like? What does that
Right.
look like in regards to your child's relationship with his or her? I'm just saying her,
Hmm.
his or her peers, friends at
Right.
school. So some of these things that we're going to talk about are kind of like comments. It's like, yeah, duh, I mean, not duh, but we're aware. We know that. So like peer pressure, we are aware of peer pressure.
Got it.
However, I really do feel that the peer pressure is peer pressure across the board. However, the peer pressure now is different from back in the day.
Fact.
It's different. There's the nuances, the dynamics, it's the access to
Right,
all
because you couldn't be peer pressure after school unless you were still hanging
right,
out. Now
right.
with internet, it's like there's
Exactly. With
there's
social
never a disconnect.
media,
Never a
exactly,
disconnect.
exactly. So if you had a bully, and I'm just speaking in general terms, we're not going to deep dive into nothing, but in general
Hmm.
terms, if you when you had worries and concerns, it literally for the most part was during the school working hours, okay? And then when you were no
Absolutely.
longer at school, not to say you totally forgot about it, but it wasn't anything that emotionally impacted you. It didn't linger on the
You
home
could
because you was
breathe. You could
good.
take a
You was
deep breath.
good. Unfortunately, that is not the case for our children this
Right.
day and age. Whether they have access to social media, whether they have their own cell phone or not, there is still access, and by way of friends. So you can have where you like my child don't have a phone or my child doesn't have social media because he or she, I feel is it mature enough. However, they friends
Right.
do.
Right. So
They
shout out to the
friends.
parents who still don't allow it because I
I
know
don't
that
care
that is
about that
very
P-notches.
unpopular.
No. Right.
It's
Because as a
unpopular.
parent, you cannot control every aspect of your child's life, nor
Right.
should you be able to. But there's some circumstances I wish you could, but in a healthy way. Let's put that out there. But your child's friends have social media.
Yeah.
Your child's friends is relaying information. Oh, such and such posted this about you.
Right.
So
And your
there's
child being the only person without it,
without
like
it.
they feel on the outside. Yeah.
Yes. So with your child and just our children in general having more times than not access to each other, it increases the possibility in regards to them engaging in behaviors that they know they're not supposed to do. They know they're not raised
Right.
that way. Doing little things that they are aware that they would get in trouble. You know what I mean? But that consistent
Absolutely.
pressure and feeling left out, feeling like you're not up to date or you're not. I'm about to age myself. I'm about to say hip, or are you not down? Let's go with that. I don't even think they say down anymore. Girl, whatever the phrase is, I have to look up the hood
I'm
dictionary.
not doing it. I'm not doing it. We're gonna
Whatever.
go with what we've been saying. Like bump these kids. Like we
I like to
how
I,
is it
I
me saying, hey sweetie, to my friend all of a sudden means something different than it meant yesterday? No, no. Look, you don't. That's like the no snitching rule. I'm a citizen. Don't be trying to hold me to hood rules. Don't try to hold me to kid rules. I'm
think I
45.
pushed the button. I
I'm
think I pushed
almost
the
half a
button.
hundred. Like, what are we doing? You're not gonna make me
Right.
relearn nomenclature. No,
Oh,
keep going.
I
Sorry,
will. You're good.
it pissed me off.
But going back to, there's more risk, there's bullying, there's more risky behavior, there's drugs, they look
Right?
like Skittles, okay? I
Can
tell
we
my
pause?
child, yes,
Go
we
ahead.
have to
No.
pause right quick. I tell my child, if you didn't get it from home, don't even hold it. I don't care if it's the water bottle, I don't care if it's chapstick, I don't care if the candy it actually looks like you had it. I don't care if it's a pencil. If you didn't get it from home, no thank you is your response. You don't hold nothing, you don't smell nothing, you don't put on nobody's clothes. That's a whole nother episode. But the access to the vindictive behaviors of
Yes.
a lot of these kids that results in the fatality of your children is so scary as a parent. But also this
Yes.
goes back into just these risky behaviors. The access is nonstop.
And because there is nonstop access, our kids feel that they know the people. They feel that they know the situation. They feel like they have all the moving pieces, not
Right.
realizing that they're on the inside looking in. As parents, us on the outside looking in, we
Outside.
see so much more, right?
Right. Right.
I've had to have this conversation of, you don't know them people. I don't care if you know their first name, their mama name. I don't care if you know their favorite color. You don't know
Right.
them people.
Right.
When I'm looking at and coaching and working with schools, and we have teenagers who have been friends their whole life, and all of a sudden, one sets the other one up to get beat up, to take drugs, whatever, right?
Yeah.
When I'm looking at middle schools where, oh, we were just sharing brownies. Nobody said this was a weed brownie. You understand what I'm saying? And so the
Like they're
rule
telling,
the rule is
right.
you don't take nothing from
Yeah,
nobody.
I'm saying you're not hungry, you're not thirsty, you just parched until you make it home, okay?
You can swallow your
Um,
spit. You're gonna be all
yes,
right. Put a little extra
right,
toothpaste on your toothbrush. You're gonna be just fine. And there was a situation where Kayla did consume somebody else's lunch, and it escalated into a whole altercation. And as I'm listening, I'm like, I'm listening. Now, I know that you have been hit by somebody. We are here because of the fight.
right.
But let's go back. You ate something out
Somebody else,
of you ate somebody else's something. So you see
right,
how all of this could have been avoided had you follow the rules of my household
right,
and not taking anything from anybody. So let's deal
right,
with that first. Like, well, excuse me, Mr. Vice Principal, sir, you're gonna have to wait.
right,
Because first, the
right.
first thing
I
we
gotta
got
be
to
a mama
address,
of mine, right?
come on here. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing we have to address is her consuming something that did not
Didn't
belong to
belong to
her.
her.
That
Exactly.
did not come from our household because Skittles look like Skittles. Everybody think they Skittles. I don't know what her brother into. I don't know what her daddy, her grandmother. I don't know who's selling what.
Mama, auntie, sister, it don't matter who, family or the
If it
friend,
didn't
they get
come
the
from,
dog.
and here's the thing, I
Like,
keep my pantry stacked. It's stocked, whatever. It's stocked and stacked, truth be told, because we got to go in there and clean out today. But I keep the pantry full of items that she loves. We throw away more stuff because,
stuff.
and by throw
Yeah.
away I mean put it in a bag and hand it to the homeless people, because if it's expired I don't want to just throw it away, because it's, the expiration date is more of a suggestion. But
Right, right.
we're
I
gonna
get
go
what
ahead
you're
and pack
saying.
this up.
Right.
We're gonna give it to somebody less fortunate, you understand, so
Yeah.
that they have something to eat. Like, I'm gonna be honest, homeless people love Oreos. Okay, I don't know what it is about Oreos, but baby,
They had a
the
hold on me until the pandemic, and I had that extra belly, and I said, no more, no more.
but my thing is, we keep stuff. So don't tell me that, oh, you just
Right.
wanted it. Because if you
Yes.
just wanted it in the moment, you could have waited and came home and had it. Because it
Home.
ain't like you got to
Right.
ask permission to go into the pantry. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, as her mom, or as a mom, I'm always thinking like the vindictiveness of other people has to be at
Right.
the forefront of my mind, because I know my daughter is very loving and trusting.
Right.
She
Right. And
uses the
very
friend word
kind.
way too loosely.
Yeah.
And to
I
me,
don't even say the rest. I say the F word in an appropriate social
and I'm
setting.
trying to teach her the difference between a friend and an associate, and she knows the difference. But when
In the
you
moment.
are in the moment,
Mhm.
everybody's a friend, knows a friend. How does your best friend? They ain't never been to this house. You ain't never been. How does your best friend?
Exactly. Right, right, right. And we kind of going into aspects of how parents can support their child or children
Okay, all
into
right.
having healthy.
Let's
And I
back
think
up
it's going to
then.
be all like intertwined because
Okay.
but true, very
But
true.
Danielle
Is
likes structure, y'all. She like,
I
hey, that
do.
that's her
I,
way of lovingly correcting me and say,
yes,
hey,
I'm like,
we're gonna
hold up,
start with
take
these
away the
challenges
framework. Right.
and then we'll go into the support. Okay, got you. Let's go.
Thanks for the translation. But right, what you said, stick a pin in that, and we'll come back to it. But there is the emotional manipulation. You know,
Oh
there is
goodness.
very much so. And I'm for this for the emotional manipulation, I'm going to speak to the fact that kids are not born with this. They
I need to
see
take
it,
notes.
they observe it, and they display it. Okay.
Yes.
And there is an aspect where they know, we all know right or wrong. We all know fair and unfair. There
Mm-hmm.
are aspects of the manipulating that a child is not necessarily aware of. However, the child can be aware that it's not okay.
Right.
And when you have a person who manipulates, they're looking for specific characteristics. If
Yes.
your child is the friendly, if your child is the, we'll just say gullible one, because maybe in your household, when people speak, it's the truth. When people say things, they follow through. That's your child's, for the most part, only experience. That they didn't even
Yes.
have to think of, well, is this the truth or is this okay? Is this fair? Because that's the dynamic within their household. So when they come across
Yes.
a peer who says, "Oh, let me I'm thinking of a situation with my child. This
Hmm.
was like years ago. Let me hold your, because she always got the latest whatever. It was just to
Hmm.
hold something cutesy and furry, at that time,
Right.
a little trinket or something. And the girl didn't give it back. And my child was very upset in the aspect because the friend said she would give it back and she didn't. And every time she asked, the the manipulation, she will have an excuse, or she'll, change the subject, or she'll make my child feel bad about asking for her stuff back. So it's very, very um
I don't know if you could see
no,
my brain turning.
it's very, very much strategic. It's
Yeah.
very strategic when you're dealing with any type of manipulation, but very much so emotional manipulation. And the child is looking for certain responses. Did,
Hmm.
did, did the person knuck up if you, but you know what I mean? Like, did they speak
Right.
with their whole
Right.
chest? Or they kind of let shy away, or they kind of like, okay, or like, give me my stuff back, but there was no follow through. So
Now,
let's go ahead and
see,
go ahead, Coach. Yeah.
because I'm the parent, my daughter don't own nothing because she ain't bought
So,
nothing.
so the friend got
So,
your stuff.
so the friend got my stuff. You
Oh,
understand?
I
You stealing
understand. I
from me.
understand. I
So
understand the translation.
now
Okay.
I'm like, okay, there's a couple ways we can handle this. I can look at my daughter and say, go get my stuff. And she can go to her friend and say, hey, that's my mama, said she wanted. Or I can call that person's parents and say, your child got my stuff. Please return it. And if they cannot find it, here's the link. Here's the address to the store where you can purchase me another one.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm not going to argue with y'all about it.
Right.
Since she did not return it, this is
Hmm.
this is how you can return it. See how that had escalated, and now we as parents is look. And again, don't you take nothing from anybody. Oh, such and such made it for you. They bought it for your birthday. Let me call their parent to confirm.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna
Right. And
play with
that
y'all.
goes, yeah, that goes back to the aspect of, circle, completing the full circle, making the full 360 as the parent. There
Hmm.
is an active involvement that a parent should have, even
Absolutely.
when the friends are good. Okay. There should be an active involvement.
Yes.
You should,
In a
we'll get to
healthy
that.
way.
Yeah, right, in a healthy way, because once again, you are guiding, or should be guiding, your child through having healthy relationships,
Right.
healthy friendships. Now, and I think I'm jumping over, but if they see that you going at it, and one day your best friend is such and such, and the next week y'all good, well, you know what? You need to take the advice for the children. So
Right.
take notes.
Learn behavior.
Okay.
Right. Now I want to, because this, what was your wording? You said emotional manipulation, right? Was
Hmm.
that the word you used?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Emotional manipulation also looks like virtual leashes, as I like to call them.
Okay.
It's the, hey, what you doing? Text message, right? How come you're not answering? Hey, are
Yes.
you mad at me? So we not
Yes.
friends no more? Like, no, what she is doing is cleaning up. Which, like, there's a time frame where she can communicate with you. If you can't work within our time frame, stop communicating. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But
Yes.
I see this particularly in relationships. So I had a teenager tell me that she had put three Life 360 on her boyfriend's phone. And his mother couldn't even take it off. Like, and she wouldn't remove it so his mother could add Life 360 to her phone because she's not going to tell me where he is. You have to have a password to take it off the phone. And the way I was like, so what happens if he just switched phones with his brother? And she had a whole fit about that because, unbeknownst to me, the boy was in the class. She felt like I was giving him ideas. Allow me to give him some ideas. Because, girl, why would you
Right.
be in control of somebody? Y'all 16. That is emotional manipulation. And it's the
It
virtual
is
leash. Oh, I need to know where you are. And
all
unfortunately,
the
I am
time.
finding
Yes.
more often than not, these kids have each other's locations, sharing locations with me.
Right.
Share your location.
Right.
You are not a
Don't
parent. Why do you,
ever.
why?
Right.
Oh, it's for her safety. Well, what can you do? You don't even drive.
Right. Right.
How is it for her safety?
Right.
Oh, because otherwise we got to break up. Bye.
Uh,
Because why would you need? I'm a grown adult. Now, I do share my location when I'm with, if I'm leaving town, especially if I'm driving by myself, I shoot my location to my mom. Cause I know that if I don't answer, Miss Pam coming.
Right.
She
Right.
don't care. Listen, baby, I went to Jamaica and I was supposed to land at a certain time. It took me an hour and a half to get through customs. It took me, and I couldn't use my phone in there. It took me like another 20 minutes to find my group. And then we went to the store. Like when I tell you, when I finally called my mama 2 hours later, she was at the airport at the counter buying the ticket to Jamaica. She
I
didn't even
know
know
she
where.
was.
She didn't even
I
know
know
where.
she was.
So
I'm gonna
I
find my
know
child.
if I call her, she coming, right? But if
Right.
I don't call her, she coming. Like let's be
Right.
clear about that.
Right. Don't get it confused.
But the thing is, because she can. Your
Right.
significant other who don't drive,
Right.
whose mama ain't even at home. Like, why do they need your location?
Right.
Other than just being flat out nosy and snooping. Why would they need
Right.
your location?
And then also speaking to the fact, and with this, I feel we have to speak to both aspects because unfortunately, this doing of the children is by way of what they see.
Mm.
So the parents are doing this, and even and this
You know
was
what? I don't want to
actually
blame the parents.
well, I would say there's an
Sometimes
aspect.
it's learned from the social media, like you should have, and they're
I
listening to
I
influencers.
feel I feel from the experience there's aspects where there is the exposure to social media and what's put out there and what's supposed to be done, and then
Very
also the
true.
aspect of remember when we was on the phone when we had access to even talk on the phone, the phone in the wall, right? And what that
But
looked
we
like.
had to stand up the whole
Right, right. That's why we was always in shape, anyways. But now you have to work out, anyways. You don't have to be on the sport. You was in shape, but that core, anyways. But but now
time. My girl.
it's also the same thing. However, it's ramped up because everything is the access.
Yeah,
So, but
absolutely.
also, so there is aspects of this that is normal within the
Hmm.
phase of age development.
Right.
However, there's also other components where there are certain aspects of where it's seen at home,
Yeah.
is displayed at home. Then flipping back to the other part where you mentioned in regards to what's put out there on social media, um, and being nosy, but just that learning curve. What you
Hmm.
doing? I called you 4 times. I had that personal experience as well. And it was as an active parent having that ongoing conversation. This is not their business, even if you're not
Right.
doing anything. It's
Right.
called setting limits and boundaries. And yes, I did use those words. She knew those words for a very, very young age because of, yes, I am a parent that still looks at the text message. Yes, I am a parent that my child can't even add contacts to her phone. I have to add. Ain't nobody
On
just
here.
texting and no, I have to do it.
Yes.
So, and even and vice versa, when she was mirroring, doing the same behavior, we no, 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 we don't do that over here.
Hmm.
Because if somebody says they're going to call you back or they don't respond, they're not responding for a reason,
Right.
and it's not for them to have to tell you, and you not nobody like no, and the same way, vice versa. If you don't
Just teaching
respond,
that social etiquette. Yeah.
Right, right. That you don't have to respond every time somebody calls you or texts you, and is not assumed that something wrong. No,
Right.
because that speaks to so many different levels and so many different dynamics of other things that can create other things in regards to an unhealthy aspect.
And in
So
a day
there,
and age where parents we constantly have our phones in our hands. So when it
right,
rings, we answer. And that is teaching them. So when I put my phone down and somebody is calling and she's like, "Mom, your phone is ringing." It's okay. They'll be
right,
fine.
right, right.
They'll be
I
all right. I can
purposely
call back.
I'm in the phase of life now. If I sit it down, I don't remember where I put it. So half of the time when my child brings my phone, I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Because I didn't even know I did not have the phone, but I sit it back down. But this wasn't a ongoing, this was recent because of they're watching. So if you always
Yes.
have your electronic device, even your headpiece in your ear, you're still attached. You will still have access, the person still has access to you. And you showing you still gonna respond. So within all these things, you have to be mindful as a parent. How is what I'm doing reinforcing what I'm telling my child not to do?
Yes. Absolutely. And if we forget, because sometimes we do, because we're so used to having our phones, we're so
Yeah,
used to being like connected. If we forget, this would be a good time to set reminders on your phone that say disconnect, that set
I
downtime
have
on
it
your
on mine.
phone,
Yep.
right? If you call me after 8 o'clock, you better be on the list of people that can get through. Because,
Right.
baby, when I turn it off, it's all right. My mama can get through, my brothers, my dad, like it's a list of people
Yeah.
that
And
can
if I
get
don't
through.
respond, just know that they ain't you. You get
Because
the
that little
next out of five.
the beep on my phone, I'm only gonna hear it if I'm actually awake. If the
Mm-hmm.
TV too loud, I still ain't gonna hear it. So I'm but it's my way of disconnecting because
Right.
I know that I have other important things to do. Are the people calling not important? Absolutely they are. But are they important to my day to day and how I'm interacting with my child, how I'm functioning in my house? There's a limit. And I
Yeah.
think we got to be reminded to set those limits. So I wanted to say it. All right, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So there's that, right? And then there's with in keeping in mind, and some people may not be aware within just this ongoing access,
Mm-hmm.
there's a level of control.
Mm-hmm.
As you know the way that you raise your child, you don't know
Yeah.
how the friends are being parented.
Right.
And no, a child is never too young to display this type of behavior. Granted, it starts at a young age. There is the
Yeah.
territorial, there is the power and control. Yes, it is a thing. So when you should be having these conversations with your son, with your daughter, specifically state that their
Yeah.
behaviors are controlling so that as your child gets older and continue to have friendship and intimate relationships, they know what that looks like and they know what that is called.
Right.
That is controlling behavior. And that's not okay. And it's not healthy.
And at some point,
Anything? Well, so anything you
as
want to add to that?
parents, yeah, well, at some point as parents, we have to take responsibility for that because that might look like, and I'm gonna use me my own self for example, right? If I was to notice controlling behavior, I probably need to go. Well, I do be on my mama head about where she is and why she ain't answering my call. So if my daughter is on my head, probably learned behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
do. Like,
yeah.
listen, if I miss Kayla call, what's going on here? And I'm like, I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm busy. And she's more. And I had to tell her, I'm not obligated to answer your text messages right away.
Right,
Right?
right. Yes, yes.
If it's urgent, say that. If
Mm-hmm.
it's mom, this is urgent, right? But if it's urgent, just call, right? But sometimes I'm still like, if we're live, I can't just
Right.
be like,
Yeah,
hey, let me stop. Hold on, Danielle. Now,
right,
I probably would because
right,
if
right.
it
But
says,
just
mom,
to
this is
ensure.
urgent, this is an
Right,
emergency.
right.
Then I'm gonna
Hmm.
be like, hey, real on parenting, Danielle got this. I'll be back if I can.
Right.
Otherwise,
I'm
I'm
holding
going to
down
keep
and she's hitting it to her
focusing.
child.
Right. And
Right,
we have done shows and I got messages of a death. We've done shows and I've got messages of someone injured, a car accident, but sometimes you have to complete the task. But I don't think our kids are understanding that. I
Well,
think our
no, and
kids
they
are like,
don't.
let me live in the emergency of the moment. And sometimes I can't. Sometimes, like, so when I put my phone here, it's on silent, it's face down because
Mhm.
I don't need to know until after I finish the show. There's nothing I
Right,
can do.
right,
I'm gonna
exactly.
be a complete mess. They don't need me messing up two tasks, right? So I'm gonna just pause. And so I prevent myself from knowing about anything until it's over. Then I go, oh, okay, let me check in between this and that. Okay, I have to pivot in whatever I was planning for my day. But that has to be acknowledged.
Right.
As parents, like we do play a role. Now, I
We
am
do.
still sticking to social media is a major factor and
It is.
influencers and how they, oh, you didn't do this and you like if my man don't do this or if my girl can't call me back within 10 minutes, I'm not the chick for you because I be busy. So if you ain't heard from me all day, I promise it's not because I don't love you. It's because I got other stuff to do.
Yes.
It just
But
is what it
also,
is.
it speaks to the fact of the instant gratification
Mm,
and just how the
there we go. That's
brain,
the word
I
I was
don't
looking for.
care how old you are, how the brain functions. So our children in their era, all they know is electronics.
Yeah.
We have had, well, if you were 80s baby or even just a 70s baby or anything before that, okay, I can go down the whole list. We
Right.
have had certain experiences where we had to wait. When people couldn't afford to call wait, what you have to do, wait. You get that
Right. Because
pew
that
pew
people
pew
do.
pew, right? You had you. There was no other option. So
Right.
we had the structure in place. Some
Yes.
people could afford to call wait, some people can't. But either way it goes, if it's two lines tied up, you have to pay for three-way. All that it wasn't in everybody's budget. Okay, so we had things that were due to technology at that time where we
Right.
actually experienced what that felt like.
Yeah.
And we understood, oh, we have to wait until the line gets cleared
Hmm.
or when the person off the phone. That has never been our children's experience. Their
Right.
experience, more times than not, is instant gratification. You push the button, it does it.
Yep.
Everything is you do it and it does.
Yeah.
So when you have become aware, as we're speaking about it, all this
Hmm.
plays a part in regards to how they function within relationships, whether that's you, whether that's teacher, with whomever.
Yeah.
Remember that they are functioning from the instant gratification.
Yeah.
So for them, it makes sense to, oh, they text me, let me text them back. Oh, mama, I text you, or dad, I text you. You didn't text me back. Why you text me? And it's like, hold up. Like, what do you mean? Are you dying? Are you hungry? You got feet, right? Walk downstairs. So it doesn't default that way of
She's
thinking
telling
or
my
that
baby she
consideration.
got feet.
She do,
Let
and
me
she
find
knows it.
out
But
you
sometimes
telling
she
my
needs to be
baby she got
reminded.
feet.
Sometimes she needs to be reminded. It's okay, and then you go downstairs as well. She got hands that can cook and all that stuff, but snack options. But that's never been their experience. So this is one of the many vital things that the parent has to explain that. That has to be explained and be very specific. Yeah, layman's terms, but it should at the same time an ongoing conversation. It should be an ongoing conversation.
So let me ask you this. So because when there's like we talked about peer pressure, emotional manipulation, like what do you think is the self-esteem component? Like how does this impact our kids' self-esteem when they have toxic friends? Because and I have my opinions, but because you're the therapist, I want you to lead with this. What is the let me go back. How does it impact our kids' self-esteem? And let me end that question.
Well, I would say like the end of elementary school, all through junior high, all through high school, the influential aspects they're always important, but they're very important and very impactful during this phase of your child's life. So when you have that part of not feeling that you're a part of, the clique or you don't have the latest whatever in this day and age because they have access. If you don't
Right.
look the part, back in the day, like you didn't have the Nikes, or you know, it was different. But now there's
Yeah,
so many things that tells you and shows you what you're supposed to look like, what you're
right.
supposed to smell like, what your hair is supposed
And
to
it's
look
all the
like.
same. Like we actually took pride in
Yeah,
not looking like everybody else.
right,
I didn't own a
right.
pair of Nikes till I was good and grown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't care.
Yeah. And I was the one who did. I had one for every outfit. So it not like that, but not
Bougie.
like that though.
Bougie.
See, that is a prime example, y'all. That's a prime example, okay? When a friend coming at you talking about you bougie because your family had the means or may not have, because sometimes
I'm
you put out there,
sorry.
I
I'm sorry if
appreciate
I
the
have
apology,
contributed
okay?
to your low self-esteem. Or look, not your low self. If I am creating low self-esteem or low self-worth, I am sorry. See, that's how you fix that.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you reworded that. I'm saying that's what I don't have. But however, if that's what you perceive it to be, it's okay. I'm not that person, and let's
I
have an open conversation.
if
But
I am contributing to you, I'm sorry.
we were laughing about it. But that in
Right.
itself, that's an example. It happens just like that. It wasn't like
Yeah.
harsh or anything like that. And it's like the nice nasties, right? It's like the
Come
underhanded
on.
compliments. It's
Right.
like a girl had told my daughter, "Oh, your hair is cute, but you should go to my hairstylist." And because in
First
the
of
era that
all,
we grew up, I already have what I will. Did you say this back? And she's like, "Well, no," because I said, "Well, no, hold on. Well, let's
not
break this
just
down. Because why are you even suggesting your hairstylist when you said my hair was cute? Evidently, you want this hairstyle, so you need to go to my hairstylist." But
listen,
that
and
was
your
a whole
snapback
conversation.
is
It,
anointed.
you
So,
know,
because I've heard it, listen,
and that it is okay. That's why I do not call Auntie Kiana during certain situations. I come back with the resolution. It's resolved, and this is what occurred. But the things that the kids I gotta tell her the whole story with the conclusion when I'm sharing. But anyways,
Mhm.
but the underhanded compliments, it's chipping away at the already vulnerable, already
Yes,
raw self perception, self
absolutely.
esteem that your child has for themselves. So sometimes it's very loud and vulgar and all those things, but it's the ones that are very, very subtle
Yes,
that has a great and unfortunately a very significant impact on how your child feels about themselves, how they see themselves. And I hear parents say, "Well, I tell them all the time," and and it's nice that you say that. However, how does your child? Have you asked your child, how do you feel about yourself? When you look in the
exactly.
mirror, what do you see? And you need
Exactly.
to meet your child where they're at. And sometimes as a parents, we got to roll it back and we need to go back to 6 years old, in regards to that aspect of, okay, what can be done as a way of pouring into my child's positive perception of themselves?
Yeah.
And that may be you no longer have access to this friend that you call on a friend because it's not healthy. And I see that you're having a hard time with navigating it, which is understandable. Doesn't feel good, but it's understandable. Mom is going to step in.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Block, block, block,
I've
block, block.
my daughter's been in that position and I've tried to encourage her to work it out with a friend.
I have
Um,
as well.
I I have a max though. So this is the second situation. Okay.
No, I'm
The
with
first
you.
situation, I'm going to encourage you to fix it. The second situation, I'm going to encourage you to think about if you want this friendship, right? So
Mm-hmm.
is this somebody that you want in your circle? If yes, fix it. If no, go ahead and let it go. That third situation, mama tell her your mama said y'all can't be friends.
Yeah. So
Because what the
outside the
hell?
therapist is just Danielle. And I got a one time you showed me, and like Auntie Maya say, I believe you. So you gonna get your lesson, and you just gonna do it with somebody. I'm not giving you the opportunity to do it again. But however, my child is set up different emotionally. And so she was and even so, she's gotten better though over the years, thank the Lord, because my nerves. But there was various friends where they would do certain things, and I'm like,
Mhm.
did you have the talk? But I had that initial talk with her. What was said, We broke it down. What are the options? How does it make you feel? I encourage her to communicate and assert herself as a parent. Don't go as mamas, as daddies. We just can't jump in right away.
Right.
This is excluding safety, okay? We just cannot jump in right away because what that does, it takes away the child's opportunity to learn to communicate, express how they feel, and problem solve.
Yes.
And also experience those feelings. If you coming in and jumping in and doing all this stuff all the time, it is a great disservice to your child.
Yeah.
So and
But they
also
got to
just
learn to
also
manage. They got to learn to self-manage.
right. And also just knowing that there will be ebbs and flows in regards to these relationships, right? To these friendships. And there's been times where I stepped in and I've actually reached out to the child's mother because we've done activities together. It wasn't like because they were friends. And
Right.
so and it was a great conversation amongst mothers, myself and the friend's mom, because we were on the same page. And we would then, and this
I
is kind of
love
like an
that.
ideal situation, to be honest. But from there, we were able to speak to certain aspects that has nothing to do with the children, but the back aspect. This is what's going on in the family. And this is why this is going on. Her child is not going to have access to technology because she needs to focus in. We need to get this on wraps. All right.
Right.
So my conversation with my child at that time was such and such is not going to be responding to any message or any calls or anything because she's dealing with stuff. So do not
Right.
call, do not text, do not expect any of that. In the same way that vice versa. If that was our situation, I would expect them to respect our boundaries. So that's an ideal situation. That isn't necessarily the case for every parent's experience, but still to this day, I can text her and be like, boo, 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 boo. And she's like, cool. And the same with me. We ain't best friends, but we are both mothers who are guiding our daughters into becoming loving, responsible adults,
Right.
who
Who
are
make
able to,
integrity based decisions and are
right,
able to function. Yeah.
right, right. So there are, and I don't know if they've answered your questions because it can go on and on and on, but
Right.
there are so many aspects that impacts our children's perception of themselves, their self-esteem, that has nothing to do with us, but has
Absolutely.
everything to do with people and things having access to our children.
Absolutely. Um, as as we talk about that, I can't help but think about like monitoring friendships. A lot of people would be like, "Your that's your kid's business," blah blah blah. But when we think about how often kids are excluded from
Yes,
things based on their peer group, like, everybody is going to this one kid's party. Like, I kind of like that the schools have that rule. You cannot pass invitations out in school and
in
then
school.
unless you give it
Right,
to everybody, right? I think that that
right.
should include like cheer groups and football and all that because it really is exclusionary behavior.
It is.
Is that a word? Exclusionary behavior?
It sounds good to me. I will make
Okay,
one. If it
I'm gonna
fits
go
the
with it.
topic, then it's a word.
Okay, I'm gonna go with it. Um, um, they're they're really
Excluding. Go ahead. Now that I said that, go ahead.
exclusionary. Uh, there's verbal abuse that happens in these relationships that we call associations or friendships or just classmates, whatever. Like there's always
Mm-hmm.
so much, and I think that if we don't step in, and I'm speaking specifically to the parents who are going, that's too much work, or kids
That's
need to be
their
able to be
business. Our
kids,
kids will be
right?
kids.
But it
Mm-hmm.
is our responsibility to guide them and help them through these things. And if we're not pointing
Right.
them out at
Mm-hmm.
11, 12, 13, at 16, 17, 18, they don't have those skills. Like it's
Right.
our job to step in. And
Right.
I say this because as I'm running the Mothers Raising Teen Daughters group, it's 26,000 women in there. And a lot of them feel like, no, you need to let your kids' friend circles be their friend circles without you stepping in. I'm not saying step in and be in the middle of the friend circle. I'm saying step in to your child and say, this is something I want to point out to you. This person deals with you on and off. They are very fair weather in their friendship. They when other people are around, they don't want to talk to you. Or
Hmm.
if it's just you and them and they're calling you names and they're being disrespectful, or if
Right,
it's,
right,
hey, I'm gonna talk to you, but this next week I'm not gonna talk to you. And it's that
hmm,
up and down, and it's that is
right,
emotionally abusive. And we
right,
have to be
right.
mindful of how we allow our kids to interact in those spaces because we
Hmm.
start seeing our kids behaving different. We wonder why.
Exactly.
Well,
Right,
it's because of what they're going through. Their
right.
experiences are shaping their attitudes, good, bad, or indifferent. They're they are shaping their attitudes, and we're trying to figure out what is wrong with
What's
them. Like
going
all of a
on?
sudden they have an attitude. Well, it's
Right.
not all of a sudden. It's because they've been dealing with these things and no one has helped guide them
Yeah.
into
Right.
the good, the bad, the ugly. And
Right.
at some point, you know, we do have to let them self-manage, but you
Sure.
can't let them self-manage if you've never taught them to manage.
Right, right. So if you kind of think of the aspect of parenting or this part of parenting as being like the referee, you
Yes.
are observing.
And the
You,
coach. Yeah.
yes, all the people. Like, but it's like there's an aspect of you're man, you're
I threw
observing.
you off. I'm
You're
sorry.
taking note. You're taking note, and you're going in accordingly, right? With the referee when it's like flag on the play, boom, it's
Yeah.
like you're stopping it. For a coach, you're giving the instructions, you're explaining, you're giving the plays. That's the role that you have as a parent during this phase of parenting. Something else that
Absolutely.
came to mind is that, and this is not downplaying, but your child may be a friend with someone who has their own mental struggles.
Right.
This happens
They are
a
not equipped to
lot.
deal with that. Yeah.
Exactly. And children, and I'll say children, but our kids, you know, preteen, middle school, high school, sometimes depending on your child's temperament, feel like they can take it. They feel like they can help. They feel like they have to help. Well,
Hmm.
in the meantime, their mental health, their emotional state is being compromised more
Yes.
times that you're even aware of. And that's from depressive symptoms, anxious symptoms, addictive behaviors, um, um, I forgot what's called, girl, out there in the streets, okay,
I get it.
sexually active, self-harming behaviors. These things are happening as young as elementary. So by the time that they hit middle school, they're in rare form. They know how to do it to a T, very strategic on what it looks like. And this occurred with my daughter and her friend, and given the line of work that I have, but also I've always been an observant person. And what I told my daughter the first, she's very much so that's my best friend. No, 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 they're not. Has
Hmm.
mommy and daddy met them?
And they
And
ain't
even
your friend.
Frank, we even got the best. They ain't even a friend. You barely got the A in acquaintance. But anyways, but this one specific person, I said, I am concerned about the way that she frequently brings up, and I gave specific examples. And
Mm.
it was related to always being in a relationship. It was related to the
Mm.
relationship that she was in and what she was and wasn't allowed to do. Okay. And my daughter's not even in high school yet. So I brought it to the forefront. I heard this conversation. I'm concerned about these specific things. And I say, have you ever seen me or daddy control? Is mommy controlling daddy? Is daddy controlling mommy? No, just for reference point. And I've had those ongoing conversations. There were some heightened moments in regards to the friend's mental health. There was self-harming behaviors. There was promiscuity. There was a whole lot that I already knew because of line of work. I already knew what was up.
Right.
But protecting my child, but allowing my daughter to navigate herself with it is like, well, we're talking about this again. This is what's going on. Then it got to a point to where she'll say, Mom, this is what happened, and I'm not too sure about that. Why aren't you too sure? Not just okay. Why aren't you too sure to make sure that I am aware that you have the proper understanding as to why this is unhealthy, why this is not
Right.
safe? And even more
Right.
so, you are associating yourself with this person who's functioning in this unhealthy state. Long story short, she got to a point where she's like, Mom, it's too much. And she needs to just go on and get the help that she needs. Good job and high five because I know that can be for her. that's a difficult decision to make because she wants to help everybody and she wants to be everybody's friend, right? So as a parent, you have to know who these kids are. You have to know, and it's like, yes, you should be looking at their messages. Yes, you should be looking at their social media accounts if they have them. Yes, you should be looking at their last used apps. You should be looking at their browsers. You should be looking at it all because your child has access to the world
Yep.
from a child's perspective. We did dumb things. We didn't have access to the world. You know what I mean? So just just imagine. And it is our responsibility as the parent to help guide and navigate our children through how to have healthy relationships, what to look out for. And it's okay to say hello and keep stepping. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Respectfully, it is okay. These are not things that magically appear and happen because of what grade they're in and because of how
Yes.
old they are. It's still teaching and even more so, it's teaching how to function in relationships even more so because you like this person and you want to be in click and you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because you want to be a part. That's normal. We all want to be a part of something. So help guide your children on what healthy and what unhealthy looks
And that is a lot.
like. It
It's a
is.
lot. It's a, you know what I mean? Like, if we're
It
just being
is.
honest with it, that is a lot.
It
And it's
is.
still got to be
It is.
done.
And it still has to be done,
We still
right?
got to, you know what I mean? Like, what we
Right.
gonna do? Like, as parents, we can't phone it in. We can't. We cannot phone it in. So the thing is, how do I manage it now in the smaller setting so
Correct.
that if things escalate, we still all right. What I'm finding is a lot of parents are like, they'll be all right. By the time we find, and some of it is because we're like, my kid is an A student. I was telling my daughter, I was an A student, and when I tell you, I got into so much stuff that I was not supposed to be in the middle of.
That's why we didn't need to know each other that age.
Nobody was checking for me because she's obviously making great choices.
Right,
Look at
right,
her
right,
grades.
right.
Listen, and I ain't gonna bust out my elementary,
No,
middle school friends. But my sister had to remind me, Kiana, you remember we did this, and I was like, why is that in your mental Rolodex? That's supposed to been set on fire a long time ago. You should not be able to recall this stuff. And I had to think about it because I was a straight
we
A
done did some
student.
shit.
I got into some stuff and nobody knew. And to this day, every now and then I'll say something. My parents be like, what do you mean? Because nobody was checking. So it's not that your kid is like, oh, we're
Like a
watching because
bad
they're
kid.
bad and they're
Right,
right.
right.
All the kids have to be watched because all the kids are doing something.
Yeah,
I don't care how quiet they are. I don't care how loving they are. I don't care
right.
how loud they are. You would hear it if it, they're all doing something.
To some capacity. Yeah, very true. Very true.
And I was able to maneuver because I was so trusted. You understand what I'm saying? So with my daughter, I'd be like, come here.
Right.
I invented the
Right.
games you're trying to play. But the problem is a lot of times we go, by the time we get into it and see, like, it's like they have escalated so far beyond,
Right. It's
you know what I mean? And it's so easy because they can chat with people on what's the games?
Roblox.
Roblox. They can chat
All of
through the
them. These
VR.
now.
Right, because
Yeah, all
everything
of
is
them.
connected to the internet. So if you think that there's
Right.
nobody connecting to your child, you are sadly mistaken, right?
Right.
Um, I was coaching a family and the kid had like a whole separate email address and they had set up their social media accounts on this email address. And this email was like completely crazy. Like it was something that you would not have thought. Like, who would think of this email? Clearly, this is a child, right?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
they are creating ways to get into the mix, which is really unsafe. But they're still finding a way.
Yeah, they're gonna find a way. The same way that we found a way.
Exactly. Exactly. And if we found a way at our young ages, without technology,
Right.
without the ease of it all, right? Because again, remember we had to wait till somebody was off the phone, and if
Right.
their mama was a chatterbox, you can forget that, right?
Right.
We had to we you know what I mean? Like when we think about computers, we didn't have instant messaging. Remember that big old DOS book that came out with the computers when we were dealing with that. We had beepers. We had
And even
beepers.
before that, that was before. Yeah, mom. Yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to stay focused, but right, exactly.
So if we were able to maneuver and set up meeting points and set up how we gonna get to this point and that point
Without technology,
without technology, without the use of an Uber, without the use, you're
yeah.
they
But you
are
think don't
using
have to
Instacart, or let me not name Instacart. Let me refresh before somebody comes attack us. They are using delivery services
services.
to get drugs, to get
I recently heard
contraceptives.
about that. Yeah, yeah,
It's a big thing. A lot of schools don't even allow the deliveries anymore, or you have to do it to the front desk, and then the front desk takes a look at what's going on in there, right?
mhm.
And parents are like, "Well, no, because that's like I sent my child something that's that." Well, you don't know what the
And it
delivery
was
driver did. The school might be the buffer.
right,
Why are you mad at
right,
this? Anyway,
right. Yeah,
so my
yes,
point is,
right, right,
while I get back on topic, is
right.
that as we are maneuvering and as our children as they're dealing with toxic people, or as they are dealing with themselves being toxic, right?
Right, right.
We absolutely as parents need to be more involved. I feel like we have so much more to touch on with this, but
We
um
do.
we're coming up to our time, so
Yeah.
yeah.
If you're wanting to know more or have us further discuss, so there's so many dynamics and nuances in regards to this topic, send us an email at
Send us an
therealparenting at
email.
gmail.com. Even share your personal experience, or if you're wanting guidance, on how to navigate this thing called parenting or co-parenting, okay? Um,
Right.
and we'll take it upon ourselves to help guide you. Um, yeah. So
We absolutely will help guide you. We absolutely
yeah,
will give you all of our resources. Uh, I'm gonna plug my book. I choose to be a lady because it is a guide of things that as parents we really should be talking to our kids about. It's just
yes.
basic life lessons for our daughters, but it goes over social media use and hygiene and things like that, like the things that we just got to be able to talk about. Um,
Right,
and
right.
so I really wanted to make sure that we are absolutely making just
Yeah. Because
not
parenting is not
phoning it in.
easy.
It's
Right.
not.
Parenting
This is
not
the
easy.
hardest shit I've ever done.
It is. It is. And with that, the aspect in many of our episodes and our topics talks about the space of healing as the
Mhm.
parent. And
Yes.
so, shameless plug, I do have a mother journal or a journal for mothers that actually guides you through
Can I
that
get that?
scary walk. You said
What's the link to that? Because drop the link.
it,
Danielle's gonna drop the link in the chat for her guide because I don't even have
yes.
it. Can I get the
Um,
guide though?
you're funny, but yes, you can. Of course, you can. But within
I'll
it, it's like
buy
if you're not one who doesn't want to go to therapy, I'm not saying to not go, but we're all in a different space
it.
emotionally and
Mhm.
mentally in regards to what we've been through in life at that current time. It
Right.
is a safe and gentle way of kind of like navigating and also becoming aware of past life or childhood traumas that
Yeah.
is negatively impacting your ability to be a healthy mom to your child and your children. So that's basically what the journal is, and the link will be dropped. Okay.
Thank you.
You're
You.
welcome.
Can I just get a text message of it so I can buy mine before everybody buy theirs? Like this ain't gonna be sold out, and then I can't get one. That don't make sense.
Yes,
I
yes,
feel like
yes.
I should have had one. I feel like this link should have been sent to me a
It
long
should have.
time
Yes,
ago.
correct.
Because I
Correct.
forgot that you had the doggone journal.
Yes, yes. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's not the multiple pages. I'm not coming for nobody, but I'm just saying you get some substance in
Okay.
there.
All right. All right, you
All right.
guys. Thank you for joining us on the Real on Parenting. Can we do a part two next week? I feel
Yeah,
like
I
we
would
didn't
say
finish
this one
this.
will be a part. Yeah, yeah, because there's a lot more that in regards to the parent's perspective of how can they can support, also as well as what can your child do in general of trying to navigate these so-called toxic relationships and or friendships and get into healthy ones.
Very good. Because I definitely think we need to do that. So I will label this part one. All right. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. Feel free to send us an email again at the real on parenting at gmail.com.
Yes.
The real
Yes.
on parenting at gmail.com. And we
Yes.
are happy to discuss all the things. All right. Talk to you soon.